Every 4 years, the world drops what it's doing to watch as dreams and determination are tested, to stand in awe and admiration as the Olympic spirit takes form in dazzling performances of breathtaking skill. To these, the games of the 23rd Olympiad, America will once again send its best. And to the members of the U.S. Olympic team, we at Kmart send our best. We know what it's taken to get there. That's why we feel so very good about being official sponsors of the U.S. Olympic teams. Again, from the people of Kmart, good luck, America. We'll be with you all the way.
Hello, divers. Coming to you from Studio D, this is the Deep Dive Microcast, a brief look into things I find interesting, and I hope you do too. I'm Tom Feeney, raconteur, unindicted co-conspirator, and writer for Wang's Chop Movie Magazine. Well, the games of the 2024 Paris Olympics are now in the history books, and from most accounts, it was an incredibly successful event. This Olympics specifically has won accolades for how it was broadcast to the world. NBC managed to produce a rousing, entertaining series of programming around the games. In fact, ratings for the Olympiad overall were up an impressive 80% from the 2020 games, which were, of course, delayed and beset by problems related to the COVID epidemic. Most of that 80% increase can, of course, be distilled to one simple factor: Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I love this Batman right here. This is a great rally right here between China and the U.S. right here. As you see, it don't stop to the casket drop. They rocking and rolling, back and forth. Give me that. No, I need that. No, over here. No, over there. What about over there? No, what about there? No, give me that. I need that. That too. No, sit down somewhere. Get out. Wait a minute. Hold it. Way up in the sky. Now down. Back up. Over there. Now over here. Get out the way. Move. I told you we need that.
NBC's decision to have the rapper and media mogul become involved with the games was a backstroke of genius, not to mention incredibly entertaining. Bringing this massive sporting event to the rest of the globe is, as you can imagine, a massive undertaking, and NBC Comcast paid a high price for the privilege. The company paid a reported $7.75 billion for the rights to broadcast the Olympic Games up to and including the 2032 event. By then, we'll probably be able to actually participate in the individual events ourselves with some kind of VR glasses or something. But instead of looking forward, we are going back to the very first broadcasts of the games to see how coverage has evolved. The broadcasting of the Olympic Games has evolved significantly since the early 20th century, transforming from a local event to a global spectacle watched by billions of people. This history reflects advancements in technology, the growth of the Olympic movement, and the ever-changing nature of media consumption. In the early 20th century, the only way people not in attendance of the games could see the events was via silent movies, which were seen weeks, if not months, after the events themselves took place. Now, the first live radio broadcast of the Olympic Games took place a century ago during the 1924 Summer Olympics in Paris. Radio was the primary medium, allowing people to follow the events live even if they couldn't attend in person. Now, although the lack of an international broadcasting standard limited the audience, this marked the beginning of the Olympics as a globally shared experience beyond the host city. The 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin would see a massive increase in coverage of the Games, as they were beamed all over the world in 28 languages and 2,500 broadcasts. Now, the Berlin Games were also the first to be broadcast on television, albeit in a very limited capacity. Adolf Hitler and his Third Reich used the games for propaganda purposes, and the broadcasts were available only to a small number of people in and around Berlin. Nevertheless, this event marked the first time that moving images from the Olympics were transmitted to audiences far from the actual venues. Television's role in broadcasting the Olympics expanded significantly after World War II. The 1948 London Olympics were the first to be broadcast to a wider audience, with the BBC providing live television coverage to viewers in the United Kingdom. However, once again, the audience was still relatively small, as few households actually owned a television. The 1956 Winter Olympics in Cortina d'Ampezzo were a landmark event in Olympic broadcasting. For the first time, images were transmitted across borders, reaching viewers in multiple European countries, and that set the stage for the globalization of the Olympic broadcasts. The 1960 Summer Olympics in Rome were the first to be broadcast live across the Atlantic to the United States, marking a significant milestone in the internationalization, I think that's a word, of the Games. This was made possible by advances in satellite technology and the coordination between European and American broadcasters. Satellite technology revolutionized Olympic broadcasting. The 1964 Tokyo Olympics were the first to be broadcast live via satellite, allowing viewers in the United States and Europe to watch events as they happened. This development greatly increased the global audience for the Games. The 1968 Mexico City Olympics introduced color television broadcasts, further enhancing the viewing experience. Now, the 1972 Munich Olympics were the first to be broadcast live in color to audiences around the world. However, these games were also marked by tragedy.
This is an ITN newsflash from the Olympic Village in Munich, where early this morning armed Palestinian guerrillas raided the sleeping quarters of the Israeli team. The gunmen shot dead 2 Israelis and are now holding 20 athletes and 6 officials as hostages. The guerrillas are demanding the release of 250 Arabs held prisoner in Israel and have set noon as the deadline for their release. Negotiations are going on with the German government. The raid happened at about 4 a.m. After the shooting, the Palestinians allowed an ambulance to drive in to pick up one of the wounded Israelis, but the ambulance men retreated without him when firing suddenly started between the Palestinians and the police. The Israeli died soon afterwards. His colleague died in the flats. The guerrillas have just announced that they are demanding to be allowed to fly out of Germany to an unnamed destination once their demands have been met.
There at the Fürstenfeldbruck Air Base, they had their gun battle. The 9 hostages died, along with a policeman and 5 guerrillas.
The so-called Munich Massacre unfolded live on television, bringing the dark side of the Games into the global spotlight. By the 1980s, the Olympic Games had become a major global media event. The 1984 Los Angeles Olympics were the most watched television event in history at the time, with over 2.5 billion viewers worldwide. This was also the first Games where the host broadcaster, which was ABC in the United States, paid a significant sum for the broadcast rights, setting a precedent for the commercialization of the Olympics. The 1990s and 2000s saw the rise of cable television and the internet, which further expanded the reach and accessibility of Olympic broadcasts. The 1992 Barcelona Olympics were the first to be broadcast extensively on cable, and the 2000 Sydney Olympics were the first to be streamed live on the internet, albeit once again in a limited capacity. Now, this marked the beginning of the digital era, where viewers could access Olympic content on multiple platforms. And in 2008, the Beijing Olympics were broadcast in high-definition television for the first time. And the London 2012 Olympics were dubbed the first social media games, with platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube playing a significant role in how people consumed and interacted with Olympic content. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics, postponed to 2021 due to COVID, were the first to be broadcast in 4K and 8K resolution, providing an ultra-high-definition viewing experience. As technology continues to evolve, so too will the ways in which the Olympic Games are broadcast. The rise of streaming services, mobile viewing, and emerging technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality are likely to shape the future of Olympic broadcasting. Now, the Olympics will continue to be a global spectacle, but how people watch and engage with the Games will keep changing with the times. Thanks for listening. If this is the first time you've heard this podcast, check out our past episodes, available on almost all podcast providers, and subscribe so you don't miss a single one. If you like what you hear, write us a review. We'd love to know what you think. Or drop us a line at the Deep Dive Podcast at gmail.com or on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter/X feeds. You can find links to those and our awesome t-shirt store in the bio of our Instagram page. All clips used in this podcast are meant for educational purposes only and not to infringe on existing copyrights. The Deep Dive Microcast is part of the Deep Dive Podcast family and a production of Automaton Studios.